Shalom, Yashrala. This is your brother WW3 from GMS Tampa Bay 07, coming at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakak Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions. All right, now we're going to continue on with this here series of videos dealing with the buildup of World War III. All right, it's heavy and live right now. You know, it's basically it's live coverage. You know, the showdown. All right, it's just like I was saying on a previous video. It's like those contractions getting closer and closer. You know, we basically going into labor. You know, it says while Washington and Ankara won't go cold turkey, you know. Ankara is basically Turkey, all right. It's just I have a problem with pronouncing that word and Ankara and Ankara, so I just say Turkey. But nevertheless, it says the extraordinary war of words this week between Washington and Turkey points out an ineluctable conclusion. The U.S. has decided to get heavy with Turkey to bring it in line. All right, they trying to check Turkey over all the different shit that's popping off between them. All right, you got, you know, the failed coup attempt that Turkey mad about. All right, the basically the I don't know what organization he worked for, but one of America's agents, which is posing as a pastor, being locked up in Turkey. All right, you have these sanctions placed on Turkey. All right, crippling the economy and their currency. All right, then you have the S-400 debacle going on with Turkey. All right, you have all these different things, you know, and another story they're not really reporting on is, you know, America's, I mean, hey, this is a story that's, you know, not heavily reported on. It's not, you know, not to say it's for sure, but nevertheless, you know, I'm not quite sure if America's actually in Turkey at the moment right now with access to, you know, some of their equipment over there, all this here beef like that, you know. But it says the two members of the U.S.-led NATO military alliance threaten each other with sanctions is an untenable situation. All right, hey man, they on the same side, gang banging each other. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wait a minute, y'all on the same side. Y'all got some civil shit going on. You know, this is retarded. You know, look at the NATO pact. You know, if one of y'all get harmed, all y'all gonna come to each other's aid to back it up. You know, but now y'all infighting with each other. You know, y'all supposed to be a conglomeration to face it out with what was the Soviet Union. But you know, now all of a sudden you gang banging with each other. All right. It says two members of the U.S. led. All right. The U.S. led, which is basically America's extension of their empire. It says the two members of the U.S. led NATO military alliance threatening each other with sanctions is an untenable situation. There is much more to do. There's much more to it than concern solely over NATO. Although given Turkey's membership of the military bloc since 1952, that is a major concern alone. All right. It says already the ramped up pressure from Washington hitting the Turkish economy seems to have produced the desired results. All right, and we was speaking about that in the last article about the lira, you know, and the sanctions they put on them. All right. And it says at the ASEAN summit in Singapore on Friday, Turkey's foreign minister reportedly held a quarterly meeting with American Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, vowing to resolve their dispute through dialogue. Pompeo has said U.S. plans to impose sanctions on two senior Turkish government ministers were a sign we're serious. All right, so they over here sending their delegates over and threatening these people and putting sanctions on not only members of their government, but also companies and stuff like that. All right. Initially, Ankara or Turkey appeared not to be backing down, warning that it would respond with reciprocal measures against Washington. All right. So Turkey's standing up for itself. Like, yo, if y'all sanction us, nigga, we gonna sanction y'all. We don't give a fuck if we boys. Y'all claim we boys, but nigga, y'all trying to bum rush us. All right. And you trying to overthrow my government, bro. What kind of shit is that? That's some real serious shit, man. You trying to hijack a nigga's country. All right. It says initially Turkey appeared to not. I mean, come on, man. Look at what we talking about here, man. We talking about the damn white man trying to steal other people's countries. All right. And these people can't even stand up for their own stuff. Like, no, nigga, we don't want you to steal our shit. You know what I'm saying? Oh, but that's a problem because another nigga trying to steal your shit. And you like, no, nigga, get your hands out my pocket. You can't even say that, you know? It says initially Ankara appeared not to be backing down, warning that it would respond with reciprocal measures against Washington. Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut the Turkish foreign minister, before heading to Singapore, said the use of sanctions and threats by the U.S. would not work. However, Turkey withheld counter sanctions despite its bellicose rhetoric. As it turns out, Turkey's top diplomat appeared to have friendly meeting with American counterpart Pompeo at the Assine summit. In short, Turkey has blinked first in the face-off with Washington. All right, so you see this tit for tat going back and forth, but this is all to build up to what? And this ain't the only member of NATO or the EU. Now, Turkey's not part of the EU, but NATO and the EU kind of go hand in hand. Some of the members that are in the EU are not in NATO, and some of the members of NATO are not in the EU, put it that way. All right, because you have like Canada, Turkey, things like that. They're not part of the EU. You see what I'm saying? But they also part of NATO. All right. It says the immediate cause of the dispute seems to be over the fate of an American Christian pastor, which I believe is like one of these CIA or FBI agents, who has been detained in Turkey for nearly 21 months. Andrew Brunson, who also lived in Turkey for 2 decades, is accused by the Turkish authorities of terrorist offense in retaliation to the 2016 failed coup against President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. All right, now this was when, you can go YouTube. This was like on TV and shit. How they tried to, one night they tried to, I believe it was the airport, they tried to overthrow. They said that there was a Slovakia. There was like an inside how do you say it? Inside conspiracy of the top military to overthrow the government. All right. But really, they hadn't already known about they was privy that America was trying to overthrow their damn government. And, really Erdogan's military was loyal unto him. And then they shut that shit down quick, And that was some serious ass shit to see that, these elites was trying to, go in and overthrow this damn government. They tried to pull the plug on them, and they had enough strength to stand up for themselves. Like, nah, nigga, it ain't going down like that. You're not going to just do us like you doing these other niggas like that out in these countries and blame some fake shit on us. Turkey didn't just fall, as quick as these other nations. That was a quick little action, you know what I'm saying? Like out of nowhere. And America was like, fuck it, we're going to pull the plug on their ass. But they didn't just go down like that, you know what I'm saying? Turkey kind of stood up, and held their own. It was like, nope, you're not going to hit us with your propaganda and that bullshit, like the Arab Spring type of shit, like how people don't like the leader. You got terrorists over here and they trying to overthrow the government, and America need to go in there and clean that shit up. Nope, that ain't rolling, that ain't flying over here, bro. Y'all trying to overthrow our government. We stabilize the shit, nigga, and y'all need to get y'all shit and get up out of here, man. It says, there's been several other Americans and U.S. embassy local staffs who were arrested during the widespread crackdown by Erdogan against suspected coup supporters. All right, that overthrow his government. All right, he cracked down and imprisoned a lot of people. I believe it was like 200 or 400, probably even more than that, people who was arrested. All right, it says, but it is the fate of Pastor Brunson who sparked the war of words this week. Partly that is due to the personal involvement of U.S. Vice President Mike Pence, who shares a similar evangelical Christian affiliation as a detained preacher. All right, really, that ain't about that, man. This is one of the agents, you know what I'm saying? The Trump administration appeared to have previously, and they talk about, the hypocrisy of America, talk about Russia meddling in the elections, man. Hey, y'all got caught. You literally got caught overthrowing a government, trying to overthrow a government, all right? That's why y'all want this one person back so damn bad. It says the Trump administration appeared to have previously relied on low-key diplomatic contracts with Erdogan to secure the release of the pastor. Only 3 weeks ago, Trump was seen greeting Erdogan at the NATO summit in Brussels with chummy fist bumps and chit-chat. But the ongoing court trial of Brunson was accused at Washington that Erdogan is not going to play ball for an early release. It says, indeed, Ankara wants to link the case that the Turkish Islamic cleric Fethullah Gulen, living in exile in the U.S., Erdogan supporters in the U.S. Now, this is a guy that is living in the U.S. that I believe is a Turkish citizen that basically Turkey want back, all right, as a prisoner. This nigga is hiding off in America, right? But Turkey can't come over to America and just take this nigga and bring his ass to justice or whatever, you know, for whatever reason, not whatever reasons, whatever reasons that Turkey want his ass, you know, in court, you know. But he basically hiding in America, and America is how do I say, sheltering him here. So I wouldn't, you know, I've also thought on this as well, but I wouldn't put it past it. This guy's also a spy, you know, for Turkey, you know, so they both basically have a spy in custody, all right, but they can't just openly say, yeah, they got one of our spies, we got one of their spies, let's trade for our spies back, we need our agents back. They can't say that, so they give them these other types of jobs. But why they so concerned? And like, think about this shit, bro. If me, you, him, her, John, Jane, any of us went to one of these other countries, like let's say Turkey, all right, and got pulled over for like whatever law we done broke, drinking and driving, whatever, whatnot. You think Donald Trump finna be like, listen, nigga, we gonna go to war if you don't bring so-and-so back, Jim and Jane, John and Joe. Bring them niggas back because y'all pulled them over for drinking and driving or whatever, let's say. You know what I'm saying? Not paying a bar tab or a bar fight. They got in trouble. Now they locked up in Turkey, nigga. You got to release our prisoners. Nah, nigga, they like, y'all broke laws over there. Y'all, that's on y'all. You know? It says, Erdogan supporters accuse Gulen of orchestrating the coup behind the 2016, and they want him extradited to face trials in Turkey. Washington has balked at any exchange deals and insisted the U.S. preacher must be released immediately along with the other detained Americans. All right. The personal religious interests of Pence and the other and others in Trump's administration may be part of the calculus for why Washington has got heavy this week with Ankara by imposing sanctions. All right. And again, this ain't about no pastor, no shit like that, because he's a pastor, and Mike Pence is, fuck that, man. These is they damn agents, man. They want these agents back. All right. But there are other more important strategic reasons behind the U.S. muscle flexing. Washington appears to have finally lost strategic patience with Erdogan, according to the influential Affairs Journal. The U.S. foreign policy establishment has decided that it is time to take punitive economic actions on Ankara to bring its wayward president in line with Washington's strategic interests. All right, they basically saying, y'all, hey, look, y'all got too much shit popping off, nigga. Hold up, we about to have to confront y'all ass, nigga. Y'all got this nigga over here in jail, all right, for one, and y'all won't release the nigga. All right, two, y'all trying to buy the S-400 system. We ain't down with that. Three, nigga, y'all didn't let us overthrow your government and hijack the shit. You see what I'm saying? So we basically got to put y'all ass in line. All right. So that's where the sanctions come in at. Both the Trump administration and Congress have exhausted their strategic patience. They are now postured to change their approach and take steps intended to inflict economic pain on a NATO ally. Turkey of 66 years, according to Foreign Affairs. Okay, so as you see, they are willing to do this to one of their NATO allies of 66 years. All right, so how much more when the scriptures say that the beast shall hate the whore? All right, you starting to see them and all of America's allies. How does the scripture also say? The men of that confederacy have even brought you to the border. All right, see the men that you in league with, bringing you to the borders of war. All right, bringing your ass to the front line. All right, you think that they gonna just have their differences and just squash the shit? You go your way and I go my way. Nah, man, it's gonna end in World War III. All right, it says central to those strategic U.S. concerns are signs that Erdogan wants to reiterate that his country, reorient his country away from Washington's sphere of influence, embrace more of an independent foreign policy. So basically saying, look, I don't want to be under your influence no more. I don't want to be a bitch no more. I don't want to have to be up under your wing no more. I want to be independent and stand on my own feet, be my own country now. All right. Basically, all these countries that make up the American empire is like, nah, bro, we don't want to support you no more. We want to do our own shit now. It says 2 weeks ago, Erdogan said that his country was considering joining the trading bloc known as BRICS. All right. And that's the so-called other money system that they got going in, how do I say, in opposition of the petrodollar. All right. Well, they also got the petro yuan now, but that's the, you see what I'm saying? That's China. All right. And China is part of, let me just read this. It says, 2 weeks ago, Erdogan said his country was considering joining the trading bloc known as BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. All right. It says the Turkish president was warmly received by the other nations' leaders while attending the 10th annual BRICS conference in Johannesburg. Another guest honor at the summit was Iranian President Hassan Rouhani. So as you see, these are these nations that are banding together up under Russia. Okay, all these are the nations that the scriptures speak about that are banding together up under Russia's banner. All right, and Russia's gonna lead them into World War III, and they're gonna be a guardian to them, and also prepare them. All right, it says This is an ongoing sensitive issue with Turkey planning to buy Russia S-400 anti-aircraft defense system. This has caused alarm in Washington because it claims the purchase of the Russian defense technology undermines the interoperability of NATO. The U.S. is also concerned that Turkey's proposed installation of the S-400 will compromise the capability of the new generation American fighter jet, the F-35, which we've been going into, the F-35 and things like that, all right, and the S-400 system, all right, and why this all makes a big deal, and why this is so important, why the S-400 system is so important, and why these planes are so important. Like, it's not just that we talking about, I keep speaking on this, the F-35s and S-400 to sound like I'm smarter, know this or that about these things. These things are playing important roles in the buildup of this war rhetoric. All right, these are what these things are over. These trade wars, all these things are big pictures. Like if we was to go back, fast forwarding the time after World War III, and we was to go back to reading the history books, and you was to ask the question, what led up to World War III? Well, these would be the stories. Remember the trade wars, remember the sanctions, remember the Iran deal, remember the F-35, remember the S-400. You see what I'm saying? Remember the BRICS nations. You see what I'm saying? All these things here are lead up to World War III, and the causes to World War III. All right. It says Washington has warned it will cancel the F-35 sales to Turkey if it goes ahead with the S-400 deal. Like I read in another article saying that basically, I think it was the Philippines article saying, like, who you gonna tell us about who to buy shit with? We're not even sure if we're gonna get this shit. We gotta pay you for the shit first and expect delivery at a later date, and at any point in time you could cancel the contract, keep our money, and not ever deliver. You know what I'm saying? And if we ask you about it, you're gonna just bomb us. All right. It says another strategic no was Turkey's recent rebuff of Washington's demands for sanctions on Iranian oil exports. All right, where America was saying, look, if y'all fuck with Iran, we're going to sanction your ass, even if you are an American ally. It says, as part of the hostile campaign towards Tehran, the Trump administration is calling for a global ban on Iranian oil purchases, saying that if anybody in the world buy from Iran, nigga, your ass is grass. How the fuck can you say that unless you have complete authority or dominance over the whole planet Earth? All right, which America does. The Earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right. It's not clear if Asian importers of Iranian crude oil will go along with such a demand, which is set to come into force this November under a deadline set by the Trump administration. All right. So, and really in November is going to be a real heavy month for a lot of this stuff to take place, man. This is when a lot of these sanctions and stuff going to take place, and you're going to start seeing these countries actually hit hard with a lot of this stuff. So be on the lookout for your currencies here and things here in America to start fluctuating around those times. All right. Which is right around the corner, man. All right. They telling you ahead of time that the shit's about to get bad. All right. We living in these times. These are just the forecasts is just coming up. All right. And it's in the open. So what? Like the scripture say, bless he that read it. So what? You don't get caught like a thief in the night. All right. It says Turkey, which is, this is also like the parable of the virgins, the 5 wise and the 5 unwise, we getting our oil in right now. You know what I'm saying? So when that time come, you know what I'm saying? We ain't stuck out there in the dark. All right. When shit hit the fan, we're not trying to figure out what the hell going on and how did we get here. We already know what it is. All right. Turkey, which is a major importer of Iranian oil, said it would not comply with Washington's dictate on ending business dealing with Tehran. All right. And this is how, I explained in another lesson how this Iranian deal has got other countries fucked up that ain't even in the whole Iranian versus America deal. You see what I'm saying? Turkey, who not even really in that debacle between Iran and America. They ain't got shit to do with none of that. Right. But see, they being hit because America got this global ban on Iran, basically. So now Turkey, who buy from Iran normally without even America got shit to do with it, now they can't even buy from them no more, cutting a importation of crude oil, fucking them over, raising the price of oil in their country, making it a scarce commodity. All right, you fucking up the economy, bro. It says they go to S-400 system right there, man. Them trucks, woo. I love when I see them shits rolling through the streets, man. It says we need to add in the fact that President Erdogan recently making serious condemnation over Israel's violence against the Palestinians. Yeah, man. And some of these Arab nations, just like back in Iran when they had the dude Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, or when they had what your boy name was, Muammar Gaddafi, man. hey man, these was some real thoroughbred dudes, you know, just like Rodrigo Duterte, man. Hey, they be calling out America on their bullshit. Like, yeah, these are the same niggas talking about humanitarian aid. Wait, what about the niggas you got in captivity over there? Y'all call yourselves Christians. Jesus wouldn't have taken nobody in slavery like that, you know. Which the most Yahushua is going to take all these nations in slavery. But that was, you know, a statement by Ahmadinejad calling George Bush and them out. Face, like, right on TV, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, right in their face. Like, yo, fuck y'all niggas, man. You know, so you do have some stand-up guys. Vladimir Putin is another one, man. Stand up to these niggas. But those are stronger nations, you know? This is, you know, and Erdogan over here standing up, like, really, that's a bold move, standing up to Israel in their face like that, you know? Because you know what comes with that. You know, they all of a sudden you talk shit that Israel don't know nothing. All of a sudden your shit just getting bombed. And you better not even look back towards Israel and see what happened on America come tax that ass. All right. It says Erdogan has stridently denounced Israel's state terrorism over the brutal security measures against civilians in Gaza. The Turkish leader's combative comments have sharply undermined Trump's policy of appeasing Israel with this controversial recognition of Jerusalem as a state capital. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, man, y'all, hey, nigga, you didn't. First of all, you stole this country, or if y'all don't want to say y'all stole the country, you like occupying a country with your military, nigga. You basically stole a country, but they call it occupying it. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, y'all in there with your military in somebody else's country, holding them niggas hostage, saying, look, nigga, we're gonna just live over here and we're gonna hold y'all hostage over there. And now all of a sudden you you know, in the world stage, because we know, you know, what the capital of Jerusalem is, or the capital of Israel is. However, these niggas got the audacity to try to say that they gonna institute that. Man, the Most High do that, just like you gonna try to institute putting the fake ass Jews back into that land, man. But hey, man, these damn devils got some nerve. But this is how serious this is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? When I first came into this, you know what I'm saying? When I first was reading the Bible and learned about, you know, politics and stuff like that. When I first realized that there was I was reading the Bible first, but then, you know, I got a little bit into the geopolitical game, right? You know, learning and watching C-SPAN. I was like, wait a minute. There's a nation on the planet Earth actually named Israel? You know what I'm saying? And people like, wait a minute. This shit real. Like, wait a minute. This is not no fairy tale. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're reading through the Bible, you know, the only place in there that you know, from a real dumbed down mind, not to say a dumbed down mind, but a real baby in that, the only real place you could come up with really is Rome. You know what I'm saying? I think that's Rome and Greece. Those are the only real so-called places you would think of in the scriptures, you know, not knowing that Babylon, because they changed the name of it, and Persia, you know, well, they got other places, Libya and Egypt as well, you know, but, you know, you start seeing, oh shit, this is kind of real, you know. Same with all of this, man. All these things is being brought out right before our eyes. Like, wait a minute, these niggas what is all this importance? Like, yo, what is the importance of this biblical land, the biblical moves, these biblical people doing all these biblical moves and stuff like that? You know, there's something deeper than what you think it is. It's not just some little bullshit popping off, you know. It says by adopting such an openly critical stance, Erdogan has fomented Arab anger across the region, which undercuts Washington plans for Israel, in particular Trump's recent proposal to set up a so-called Arab NATO coalition force. All right, what they talking about is, okay, first of all, Turkey standing up to these niggas, which is giving these other nations some strength, because ain't nobody really standing up for these Palestinians over there, all right? But there are some people standing up for the Palestinians. Let me not say that, because Iran apparently is, you know, and the other Arabs are standing up for their people as well. But Trump and them trying to get a Arab NATO, right? But they already got something like that. The Arabs got what they call the Arab League, all right, where the Arabs is banded together with their own goddamn self, all right? They got their own NATO amongst their own self, with the Arab, I think it's called the Arab League or something like that, you know? They got their own little shit. But then also, America trying to basically hijack the Middle East and set up bases over there, just conquering a whole another continent, you know? Furthering their empire, all right? It says the Arab NATO force of Gulf of States plus Egypt and Jordan is an instrumental part of what appears to be Washington's gamut of isolating and destabilizing Iran. So they plan on going in and hijacking all these countries and then waging a massive coalition war against Iran to hijack that country. All right, because Iran is a huge country, man. They just portray it as a small little country on the map, but Iran is fucking huge. All right, and when you go back in war, I don't think nobody ever, actually, I was going to say nobody ever actually took down the Persians except for Alexander the Greek. All right, he was the one that took down the Persians. And you see the same fight coming back out. And these Iranians, they don't, hey man, They don't forget that shit, man. These are the same niggas when you watch 300, man. Xerxes, Artaxerxes. That's who you read about in the scriptures, Artaxerxes, right? That was him, right? That's your boy right there when you read in the book of Esther and shit, man. Hey, man, them niggas was serious. When you see that movie with the immortals and shit like that, them niggas don't play, man. And they remember that these Grecians, these Edomites, they know who they are, took them down. And they remember that. Like, all right, bro, we see how y'all trying to do us again, bro. It ain't going down like that. All right. And the finish that it says, they trying to destabilize Iran or worse, war. For Washington's perspective, Turkey has crossed several red lines in terms of impeding strategic objectives or stopping them from doing what they want to do. Any cause at all which would not worship the image of the beast should be put to death. And that's what you see playing out here with this country. All right. It says, for Washington's perspective, Turkey has crossed several red lines in terms of impeding strategic objectives. Erdogan is unraveling NATO's hostile policies towards Russia by proposing to buy Russian air defense systems. He is also embracing a multipolar version of global trade and diplomacy as set out by the BRICS, in particular by Russia's Putin and China's President Xi. Undermining the Trump administration's... all right, let me select it. Going back. Not just Turkey, but these other nations is like, hey, you got... First of all, they already was living in a way of America's hegemony, America dominating everything. But they like, we going to create our own new shit, our own new system. So that's what you're seeing going on. And then that's what's going to be the fight over World War III. Who's going to dominate and rule the next world? Is it going to be a free world? You know, in their minds, it's going to be a free world where, you know, after Russia and a conglomeration dominate America, they're going to just all become sovereigns and work with one another and trade with one another and be peaceful? Or is it going to continue to be America dominating everybody else and keep them in subjection? All right. The real answer is everybody going into subjection under the Israelites. All right. Under Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, you know, and King David, 144,000, the 12, the 144,000, and so on and so forth. All right. It says undermining Trump's administration and offensive designs on Iran has added to the list of unacceptable transgressions as viewed by Washington. And the recent spat over political prisoner involving an American pastor is merely moralistic cover for the U.S. to get heavy over what it sees as Turkey is going rogue. It's not Turkey going rogue. Turkey standing up for themselves. They ain't following your bullshit no more. It says for multiple strategic imperatives, Washington cannot afford to let Turkey slip from its hegemonic grip. The U.S. simply can't go cold turkey. And why is that? Because of when you look on the map where Turkey's located in retrospect to war in the Middle East, that's what the fuck they trying to get, you know, and they can't have this nigga out here. Well, they can't lose Turkey. You know what I'm saying? That's a very strategic spot for them in the Middle East, and especially with how they can launch their planes and have their missiles from over in there. All right. It says the question is, will Erdogan cave into pressure? The threat of U.S. sanctions have plunged his country's already troubled economy into a morass of pain. Principally, the loss of value of the Turkish currency, frightening away foreign investors. The least softening rhetoric out of Ankara seems to be the Assine summit suggests that Washington will get its fixed. All right. As we, continuing on in this, you see, hey, man, these not just Turkey. Turkey's just an example. All right. We just using these different examples. They just so happen to be the countries that's in the news this week. But all of America's allies feel the same way. All America's allies is going through the same shit with them. All right. And all America's enemies is all going through the same shit with America. They all trying to stop themselves from being invaded and bombarded by America all at the same time. All right. And all of America's allies is waking up to the fact that they sobering up from that Babylon juice that they've been drinking. All right. The nations are mad because they was drinking the Babylon juice. All right. With the great whore whom committed fornications with all the kings of the earth and made them drunk. All right. Now the nations are all mad. You know, they waking up, they sobering up, you know, and as you see, they all in the same mind state of starting to hate the whore, all right, and preparing themselves and being prepared by whom? Russia. To do what? To burn her with fire, all right, to take a great spoil, all right. So we're going to go ahead and close out this here segment of this here series, and we're going to come back and follow it up with some more stories. Lord willing, this here whole series and these lessons are edifying into the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Aki, pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to edify the elect. All right. Shalom.